Hi, it's Jennifer Gilman here, and I'm here to teach you how to make some natural makeup. We're going to actually work on foundation and blush, and it's going to be in powder form today. Kind of similar to the makeup that's mineral based out there. So a few things that you're going to need to get is a great container. I like to use the sifter containers for any kind of powder natural makeup. And I'm going to show you the box. I purchased mine from SKS Bottling. So I'll put that up close. It's SKS Bottling, and they're 3-ounce sifter containers. And what they look like is this here. Then you've got the sifter with the holes that gets placed inside there, just like that, and the lid. Okay, so that's how that comes together, and we'll fill it in a few minutes. Then your natural ingredients. I like to use a base of arrowroot powder. I've got mine from Star West Botanicals here. Okay, and then different color herbal powders. So I like to get organic herbal powders from Mountain Rose Herbs, and I'll show you a few of what I have that will take care of all my ingredients that I need for both the foundation and the blush. For the blush, I like using some beetroot powder. For the foundation, I like using cassia powder. Now cinnamon, I would say at this point don't get the cinnamon, it's quite costly. Instead you can use cassia, which is in the same family, and it's much more affordable. So I did get cassia powder to give me this kind of tone. Then also some nutmeg powder. This is quite expensive too, so just get a little bit of this to play with the coloring to match up to your skin. And then finally some cacao powder. You can also, if you have darker skin tone, you can use some dark cocoa powder just to play around with the tone as you make it. So remember that container I have is a 3-ounce. So what I do is I take a little bowl like this, and I add in just a couple of tablespoons of the arrowroot powder. Okay, so I added that into my bowl here. And then I put 4 drops of the Melaleuca, which is commonly known as tea tree oil. And this is a great essential oil for healthy skin. So I like to add that into the arrowroot, and then I stirred that up. I like to use these little tiny spoons. When my daughter was young, I had a bunch of baby spoons, so I saved those. And when you're working with pure essential oils, make sure you're using stainless steel or glass or any kind of ceramic. So I'm using this type of a spoon. Don't use plastic because it will actually, if a pure essential oil and potent, will actually start to eat into any kind of plastic. So I stirred that up. Then I started little by little adding my different powdered herbs to come out with the tone that I was looking for here. So I always start with the cassia first. That's a nice base, immediately starts to turn the color, and then play around with the cocoa powder and the nutmeg until you get a nice tone. Then you can just put your finger in that and test that on your hand here to see if you're starting to get the color. If you had a mirror in front of you, you could start testing it on your skin, either on the neck or on the face here, and see if you've got the right color. Once that is all mixed up nicely, you can go ahead and put it in your container. So let's go ahead. I had pre-mixed this because it takes a little while to get the right tone, and you'll want to add those other spice powders in very slowly. So I'll just put some of that powder in there. Then I'm going to put the sifter top right on there. Okay. And then we can close it up. Now when I go to use that, the best brush to have for powdered makeups, natural makeups, and mineral makeup is what's called a kabuki brush. Okay, kabuki brush. They come in either round topped or flat topped. I have a little bit of a domed round top kabuki brush. The reason you need this is because we want it to capture the powder, and it's a very dense brush, as you can see here. So now, typical with any type of mineral makeup or powdered makeup, first before you take the lid off, you're gonna tap it down a few times, and then because that sifter is there, you're actually going to see that this is how that works. Now we have enough powder for me to go ahead and do my face. And I would just put that into there, just tap that off, and go ahead and start applying it. Now with natural makeups, it's not going to be a drastic change. It's meant to be a subtle difference. Okay, so keep that in mind, but boy do I already smell good. And it's all natural. It's ingredients that you can eat instead of things that are toxic for the environment and for your skin. So I love all this natural makeup. So that was our foundation. Pretty easy, right? So let's go ahead. It's the same process really for the blush. It might take a little bit longer because we're using the beetroot powder, and typically we need larger quantities of this into the arrowroot. So again, just a couple of tablespoons of the arrowroot powder, about 4 to 5 drops of our Melaleuca, our tea tree essential oil, and you stir that up really well. Then begin adding beetroot powder, and then you can play around with maybe a little bit of cacao powder and also a little bit of the cassia powder. But typically you're going to use quite a bit of the beetroot powder before you get the right formula here. So I've got this. I like mine to be a little bit more of a bronzy type of tone. So again, I've got my container here. I'm going to fill that up with my finished product. And then put the sifter on. Remember, the sifter goes on next. And the lid. Now make sure you label these, and you can do any kind of simple labeling method, whether it's masking tape, as simple as that, or making some nice fancy labels with Avery labels that you can get at any Office Depot or Staples office store. You can also order them online and create really nice designs. Then you just go ahead and use your brush again. Oops, I forgot to tap it out first. So we're going to tap that out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the lid. And see, it's in the lid there, and you're going to use your kabuki brush again and go ahead and apply that. Like I mentioned, I like more of a subtle look, so I did not make mine very red. And that's it. Thanks again, and enjoy making your natural makeup.